Okay, and this is Jameel Rawls Studies, and I welcome the listener with a prayer. Listeners, I welcome all of you with a prayer for the spiritual fulfillment of your life's path, of your destiny's path, and whatever your excitements are, whatever your enjoyments are, whatever your desires are. I'm always hoping that you reach those accomplishments, in a loving and positive light. I'm always sending you love and light. And what I want to talk about right now is a sort of a hypothesis that I have. It's something I've never seen before. I've never seen it, I never heard of it. It doesn't mean no one's come up with the idea or no one's presented any work on it, or there hasn't been a lot of work done on it, but I've been looking for it and I can't find it. And it's a small hypothesis I just wanted to come up with to put it out there and brainstorm with people. Now, I'm a fan of the movie Serpent Under the Rainbow, or is it Serpent in the Rainbow? And it revolves around voodoo and the pufferfish and a professor from Harvard, right, named Wade Davis, who the movie actually is based on. It's based on a book. Now, Wade Davis has said a lot of it. Hollywood did wonders with it. And so the real story in the movie may have blown out of proportion a little bit, but the story is pretty much the same. This guy went down to Haiti, went and found a voodoo secret society, learned about the voodoo, the voodoo powder, the serum they create, they turn it into powder, and they can put somebody in a zombie state that's similar to death. Okay, that being said, this Haitian voodoo secret society has had this ability for a long time. And I feel the question needs to come up. Was this formula being used on slave plantations in the Deep South, just like New Orleans or, Mississippi, Alabama? You would have to think, if the Haitians were doing this on each other, if the Haitians are doing this on each other to work people in sugarcane fields, then what's to say a gigantic slave plantation wouldn't be using this as well in some way? It really goes to say there's cults over in the Middle East who would find people in battle, or they would drug people, and they would drug them and bring them up to a hill, and they would tell them, then they would wake them up and say, "You're in heaven." They would tell them, "You're in heaven." This was known to the Bedouins and many others in the Middle East, but they would drug them, take them with some wild psychedelic drug, or drug just knock you out, and maybe belladonna or something similar to that, and they take you to a place and wake you up and say, "Now you're here with Allah, and Allah's angels are here, and we're going to send you back to life, back to earth." And they would have naked women there. They'd have some like 80 virgins or whatever, but they would say, when you go out and you destroy Allah's enemies, this is where you're going to come back to. When you pass over to the other side, you're going to come back here. And they'd have all the women there for them and food there for them. And then they would put them back into whatever state they were and bring them back to the regular world, so to speak. And so there's been forms of misleading people's minds into different types of areas, in a spiritual sense, different forms of getting people to do things that they normally wouldn't do. Now, I've never heard anybody come out formally online and say, "Hey, listen, that might have been being used as pufferfish zombie potion. The zombie potion may have been used as slave plantations." And slavery is long over with. And I'm not the sort of historian that tries to bring up subjects like this to get an emotional arousal out of the, turn into a color thing. My research has nothing to do with color. I welcome all people to my research. But it's a very fascinating subject. It's a very fascinating subject because in today's world, during the Reconstruction period, that we went through, a lot of the history of the South, the Deep South, was written out. Their own accounts are often a lot different than the accounts, of the Northern Industrial Society coming in the early 1900s. So who knows what kind of knowledge and type of history has been left out. Okay, well, anyway, this is a general inquiry into that subject. Okay.